Before we begin, let us take a moment to pause and reflect. Life often moves so quickly that we forget to notice the hand of God at work in our daily lives. We become comfortable with routine, enjoying sunny days, sharing laughter with loved ones, and settling into predictable rhythms. Yet it's easy to overlook the grace that sustains us during these peaceful seasons. We may not realize how much God holds together until everything begins to fall apart. Then comes the storm, a sudden shift that shakes the foundation of our lives. Perhaps it's an unexpected phone call, a lost job, or a strained relationship. Maybe it's an internal battle, a wave of anxiety, fear, or depression that refuses to subside. These storms don't appear on weather maps, but they hit our hearts with overwhelming force. They remind us of our fragility and challenge the illusion of control we hold over life. In moments like these, when the skies grow dark and uncertainty looms large, something remarkable happens. Our eyes begin to open to see what was always there, but went unnoticed. Every breath, every blessing, every fleeting moment of peace was never ours to claim. It was all a gift from God, and though humbling, it is often in these heavy, chaotic times that we recognize just how deeply we need Him. It takes only one unexpected storm to remind us of our smallness and His greatness. Today, as we reflect on Psalm 91, we invite you to journey with us through both the shadows and the light. This passage speaks directly to the heart of anyone who feels burdened by life's weight. It reminds us that while storms are inevitable, we are never meant to face them alone. God offers Himself as our refuge, our strength, and our shelter, even in the fiercest winds. So take a deep breath and prepare your heart. Let us explore this promise together, trusting that God will meet us exactly where we are. Life is unpredictable, and storms, both literal and metaphorical, are inevitable. When we talk about these storms, we're not just referring to rain or thunder. We're talking about the challenges that shake us to our core. It could be something as sudden as a phone call delivering bad news, or as slow-building as a strained relationship on the verge of breaking. Sometimes it's an internal battle, a weight in your chest you can't explain, like anxiety, fear, or sadness that refuses to fade. These storms often catch us off guard. One moment, everything seems fine. The next, life feels overwhelming. You might lose sleep over worries about your children, struggle with feelings of inadequacy at work, or wrestle with doubts about your purpose. These moments remind us how fragile we truly are. They strip away the illusion of control and force us to confront what really matters. But here's the truth. Storms don't come to destroy us forever. Instead, they reveal areas where we need help. And more importantly, they point us toward God's presence. Think about it this way. Storms expose cracks so light can get in. When life feels heavy, it's easy to believe you're alone. Yet, even in those dark moments, there's a quiet promise waiting for you. God doesn't shield us from every storm, but He walks through them with us. He offers His strength when ours runs out, and His peace when chaos surrounds us. Have you ever felt burdened by something you couldn't fix? Maybe it was a situation beyond your control, or emotions you didn't know how to process. That's okay. It's in those moments that we realize our limits and discover God's limitless power. Storms may hit hard, but they also teach us resilience. They push us to seek shelter in someone greater than ourselves. And that's exactly why Psalm 91 exists, to remind us that no matter how fierce the storm, God remains our refuge. Take a deep breath. Let that sink in. The storms you face aren't meant to break you. They're meant to draw you closer to Him. When life feels overwhelming, it's easy to wonder if anyone truly understands what you're going through. You might feel like no one sees the weight you're carrying, or the battles you're fighting within. But here's the truth. God sees everything, and He doesn't just see it. He cares deeply about every detail of your life. Psalm 91 reminds us that God is not a distant observer, but an ever-present refuge, ready to shield and strengthen us when we call on Him. Think about the image of God as a fortress. A fortress isn't just a place to hide. It's a stronghold designed to protect and defend. When storms rage around you, God offers Himself as that unshakable shelter. He doesn't promise to remove every challenge, but He does promise to be with you through each one. His presence becomes your anchor when the waves crash hardest. God also uses His word to remind us of His faithfulness. In Psalm 91, we read promises like no harm will come near you, and His angels will guard you in all your ways. These aren't just poetic phrases. They're declarations of God's power and care. They assure us that even when we can't see the helpers, they are there. Angels, unseen yet faithful, stand guard over those who trust in Him. But how do we access this refuge? It begins with surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the illusion that we can handle everything on our own. It's admitting that we need help and choosing to run toward God instead of trying to face the storm alone. When we step into His shelter, we find rest for our weary souls and strength to keep moving forward. Picture yourself under the shadow of His wings, a place of safety, intimacy, and peace. This isn't something reserved for a select few. It's available to everyone who seeks Him. Whether you're dealing with external pressures or internal struggles, God invites you to dwell in His presence. He longs to cover you with His love and provide exactly what you need at the right time. Remember, God's promises aren't dependent on our circumstances. Even when life feels chaotic, His word remains steadfast. So take courage. The same God who calmed the seas and raised the dead is alive and active today. He hasn't changed, and He never will. No matter how fierce the storm, His protection is real, and His care is constant. Let's take a moment to reflect on how faith works in real life. It's one thing to hear promises from Scripture, but it's another to see those promises come alive through the lives of others. Stories have a way of making truth tangible, and they remind us that God is not just a distant idea. He is actively involved in the lives of His people. Consider Sarah, a single mother who found herself overwhelmed by the demands of raising 2 young children alone. Her days were filled with endless responsibilities, and her nights were consumed by worry about providing for her family. One evening, as she sat at her kitchen table staring at unpaid bills, she felt a wave of despair wash over her. But instead of giving in to fear, she turned to Psalm 91. She whispered the words aloud, claiming God's promise to be her refuge. Over time, unexpected help began to arrive. A neighbor offered childcare, a friend helped her find a better job, and peace slowly replaced anxiety. Sarah learned that trusting God doesn't always change circumstances immediately, but it changes hearts instantly. Then there's James, a businessman whose career seemed secure until an economic downturn left him unemployed. For weeks he wrestled with feelings of failure and uncertainty about the future. During this season, he made it a habit to start each morning reading Psalm 91. He imagined himself under God's protective wings, safe from the storms raging around him. Eventually, James landed a new position that aligned perfectly with his skills and passions. Looking back, he realized that losing his previous job had been part of God's plan to lead him somewhere greater. These examples show us something powerful. Faith isn't passive. It requires action, even when we don't fully understand what lies ahead. When we lean into God during difficult times, He meets us with provision, guidance, and comfort.
Each story underscores the importance of clinging to his promises, no matter how dire things may seem. What about you? Have you ever experienced God's faithfulness in a personal way? Perhaps it was a small miracle, a timely phone call, or a door opening when all seemed closed. Or maybe it was something bigger, like healing after loss, or restoration in a broken relationship. These moments aren't coincidences. They're glimpses of God working behind the scenes. Faith grows stronger when we share our stories. They inspire others to hold on when life feels heavy. More importantly, they point back to the one who holds everything together. As we continue exploring Psalm 91, remember that its truths aren't abstract. They're lived out daily by ordinary people who trust an extraordinary God. As we bring this reflection to a close, let's take a moment to sit quietly with the truth we've explored. Life is unpredictable, and storms, whether external challenges or internal struggles, are part of the journey. Yet even in the darkest moments, there is a light that never fades. That light is God Himself, whose presence remains constant, even when everything else feels uncertain. Consider this: storms don't define us. How we respond to them does. When we choose to lean into God rather than pull away, something remarkable happens. Our faith grows stronger, our hearts become more resilient, and we discover depths of peace that no storm can touch. Psalm 91 reminds us that God doesn't promise an absence of challenges, but He does promise His unwavering support through every trial. The beauty of this promise lies in its accessibility. You don't need special words, perfect faith, or flawless actions to receive it. All you need is a willing heart, a heart that says, God, I need you. That simple step opens the door to divine strength, comfort, and guidance. It transforms fear into courage, despair into hope, and chaos into calm. So as you move forward, carry this assurance with you. God sees you. He knows your name, your struggles, and your dreams. He walks ahead of you, preparing the path, and stands beside you, offering His hand. When life feels heavy, remember that you're not meant to carry the weight alone. Share your burdens with Him, and allow His promises to anchor your soul. Let this be your takeaway. Faith isn't about having all the answers, it's about trusting the one who does. The same God who calmed raging seas, healed broken bodies, and restored restored shattered lives, is alive and active today. He hasn't changed, and His love for you is unshakable. So no matter what storms may come, hold fast to the truth that you are safe in His care. Take a deep breath, let that sink in, and as you go about your day, keep this question in mind. Where will I run when the winds blow? Will I turn inward, relying on my own strength, or will I seek refuge in the one who holds eternity in His hands? The choice is yours, and it makes all the difference.